Welcome back, everybody, to Chapter 12 of Disciplines of a Godly Man by R. Kent Hughes. Today, we're going to be talking about Chapter 12, the Discipline of Perseverance. So, in this chapter, the author has a lot of stories that he went through on this one, probably more than the previous ones.
Maybe, yeah. I think he had 4 points, and for every point, he had a story.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
So
the recap was nice because if you couldn't capture the point of what he was trying to say in the story, he at least recapped it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, kind of think that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, he condensed it and brought it to a focus.
Yeah. So I'll read the first one. The first one was divest, where he says, we must throw off every besetting sin, those sins whose crimson-tipped fingers so easily entangled us. Our besetting sins are unique to us. They may not tempt others, but they slay us as we swill their seeming sweetness. Probing deeper, we must cast off everything that hinders us, even the good things. If we don't, we'll never run as we ought. Are you willing to do the same, to do some radical divesting? And then he ends it with, that is the question. So what do you think about divesting, Caleb?
Divesting. I really don't know why he brought this up, to be honest.
No?
No, not really.
Why?
I'm just drawing a blank right now.
Well, I think it's important because, like, in order to persevere, as part of the walk, as a Christian walk, you're constantly trying to catch yourself from falling into sin. And so for divesting is you have to strip yourself of those sins because so you can renew your mind and hold yourself accountable. And it takes perseverance to continually do so.
Right. You make excellent points. Absolutely. And I did some of those things that you said did take me back to last night when I was reading it, and I was always thinking about it, like, what is the point of this? And then I thought about it some more, and a lot of the points that you made were what I came up with.
Yeah.
I was just drawing a blank. I was just like, what do you think? I'm like,
it's okay. It's me a lot.
So, yeah, I think I really agree. I think the whole stripping sins away thing, though, I think that may set not a standard, but like a prerequisite that people may think, I have to do this before I can run, when it's like, no, that's not. It makes it easier. I'm gonna put that in quotation marks, easier, because it's like, as long as we're in this fallen flesh, we're always gonna have temptations. We're always gonna have trouble with sin. It's never gonna stop.
Yeah.
So to just simply say, cast them all aside, is like, I can throw the Titanic maybe before I could do that.
Yeah, but I think part of divesting your sins for us is just not being tied in bondage to this, like to the weight of the sins.
Mm-hmm.
Because Jesus died for our sins, so like we shouldn't be held in bondage to that. Like I'm not saying that it gives you free pass.
Mm-hmm.
It's still good to hold ourselves accountable, but at the same time, I don't think we need to just be bonded by the sin, like make it your identity of like, oh, I'll never get over this, and just be tormented by it.
Right.
So the next point that the author captures is run, and in the recap he writes, then we must run our own race, the race that God has marked out for us. Your race is not my race, and my race is not yours. You can finish your race, it's God's will, and he will give you the grit to persevere as you run. So run, my brother, run, is what he writes. What are your thoughts on running in terms of perseverance? I think it's a good correlation.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Like, you can't run, like, to run the marathon, to run the race, like, because he uses marathon stories like 2 or 3 times in this chapter. And running marathons is literally all about perseverance, right? You can train all you want, but training is only going to get you so far. And then in the end, it's all about pushing yourself and persevering to the very end. So I think using run in perseverance was like, it worked really well. As for what running looks like, I still don't really understand. myself. Well, just like, am I running my race right now? Is my to run in quotation marks here is that just to live the Christian life, or is that my service to God? Is that like my service to others, like what I should be doing in a godly sense, or is that just me trying to live my day-to-day Christian life?
Well, I think for this, I think running would mean, because what is it to run, right? You exert yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You put effort in. So I think to run in this sense would be not just to go about your day-to-day, but instead run towards God and chase after his heart, and put a real effort into making your connection, like your personal connection with Jesus, stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And then finding out what is his path for you. Because as you start to study him and grow your relationship, and then God might start revealing more things to you about what your path actually looks like.
Right.
Whereas if you're just kind of sauntering about, you might stumble into something here, stumble into something there, and then get distracted, like I do.
Same. Because I was gonna say, I sure, like, he talks about running, and the author of Hebrews talks about running, or Paul talks about running the race, right?
Yeah.
And I just I sure don't feel like I'm running right now. I feel like I'm just kind of sauntering my way through everyday life, and can't wait for the weekend so I don't have to work, and then I have to work at home, and
I feel that, especially lately. I've just been feeling so exhausted all the time, and then it's just like, we gotta prep. And then I still haven't gotten off my butt to edit the previous videos. It's like, I just feel so tired, man.
I feel you, dude. I feel you. I feel like no amount of sleep is ever enough.
No, especially not when you it's like, yes, it's the weekend, I get to sleep in, and then the kids are up at 6 and you're like, oh, come on.
For me, it's more like, it's the weekend, and then I'm like, I'm going to, like, Friday, I'm dead tired, I'm ready for bed, and I'll be laying in my bed, and my brain is like, we have to think about all those games we just lost. It's like, no, I need to sleep, my eyes are so heavy.
And that brings us on to the next topic, focus. So the next topic that the author writes about is focusing, and he writes, we must focus on Jesus. There must be no distracted glances. Jesus must cover the sky. He must be our center, and we must focus on his focus. That's a weird sentence, but it makes sense. And his joy, because it is our joy. His joy set before us will give us the power to endure, even despising the world's disdain. Oh, okay. It was a hyphen over the next line. Yeah, so that's what he says about focus.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important what he says about making Jesus the focus. I think that's a super important distinction, especially when it comes to perseverance.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, yeah. Because if you're just looking at other human beings for your reference, then eventually everybody's going to fail, right?
Yeah.
So then maybe you think, okay, well, he got this far. If I can get that far, I think that's acceptable, right? But if Jesus is our reference, like he's our focus, like you say, then it's like, well, Jesus was perfect. We obviously, in this flesh, cannot attain perfection. But we have a goal. As long as we don't beat ourselves over the head every time we stumble, then it's not so bad. Because I found when I was trying to be perfect, trying to be like as good as possible, and every time I made a mistake, I would beat myself over the head with it, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Because it makes life, every failure becomes something else that you hold against yourself until you just, it's like, why do I do this? I'm just miserable because I just fail all the time. So as long as we don't hold it against ourselves for failing, because we're just bound to, no matter what, it's our nature. As long as we don't hold it against ourselves and we continue to stand up and persevere, then it gets better.
Yeah, I think it's important not to beat ourselves up over, it's like our failures and stuff like that, because failure leads to success, for one, because that's how you learn. And then as well, I can't remember what verse it is in the Bible, but basically Jesus says, come as you are.
Mm-hmm.
He's not asking you to change.
Mm-hmm.
He's not asking you to change who you are and all that. He's just asking, like, come to me as you are. And essentially, once we start to focus on him, then our aspirations change. Because all of a sudden, I don't want to do this other thing anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. Like, he got us in the door by just accepting who we are and everything like that. And then as we spend more time with him, we start aligning our focus to him. And then we start realizing, you know, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be that person anymore. Which brings us to the last topic, actually, pretty nicely,
Yeah.
which was consider. And what the author writes about consider is, so we are to consider him. Our life is to be spent considering how he lived. Which, again, because as you mentioned, Jesus was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And if we contemplate, well, how did Jesus live his life? If we actually took that into consideration for a lot of our choices, we probably wouldn't make so many stupid choices, but we aren't perfect.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And that's all for the recap, but we could keep chatting. Anything else on consideration?
No, I think it's summed up pretty well, really. Like, if Jesus is your focus, then you need to consider decisions, choices, words. Are these things that I'm doing, are they beneficial to me, to my spiritual life? Are they physically helpful but spiritually not helpful, right? Like, sitting down watching television, nothing wrong with that. Is what you're watching going to be beneficial to you, or is it just going to be lots of what they put on TV these days? Sorry, I don't really watch a lot of TV, so I can't think of any examples off the top of my head.
Garbage.
That works.
Garbage.
That works. Yeah, we're in ministry now.
Ooh.
We're in chapter 14, not chapter 12.
What?
We're on Perseverance is 13.
Oh, because the last chapter was chapter 12.
You would know that if you edited some videos, Austin.
I would know that if I edited some videos.
Chapter 14 is the next one.
Okay.
Discipline of church.
Dang. All right. So that's a wrap for this one. We'll see you next time in the next episode where we're going to cover chapter 14, because this is chapter 13, apparently. And that is going to be the discipline of church.
That sounds good to me. See you all there.